Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mike.
Top Notch Sports. And today we're going to be going over the 2021 quarterback prospects. And we're going to go over Mike's scouting analysis. Mike made up this PowerPoint. If you haven't already watched me and Jatsies, you're more than welcome to go back and watch our quarterback analysis. But Mike, it's your turn. So let's hop right into it.
Yeah,
Here we go.
We're going to hop right into it. But before, I got to do what I do before every video. I got to thank Noah the Spear Thompson for giving me the idea for making this video. It's all up to him. Without him, this would not be possible. Wouldn't you agree, Nick?
Absolutely. I would agree. So Here we go.
2021 quarterback prospects. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first guy on the list is Trevor Lawrence. He's 6'6", 220 pounds. Played for the Clemson Tigers. He's a junior. He was a junior, and he is 21 years old. Now, let's go over a little bit of his legacy first. A little bit about Trevor Lawrence. He attended Cartersville High School in Georgia. His high school football days, he was a 4-year starter, varsity starter. He had a record of 52-2, winning 2 state championships and 4 regional titles. This is a phenomenal high school career. And then he went on to Clemson and went 34-2 and won a national championship. I mean, the dude has just been a winner everywhere he's gone. He's truly been amazing at every level, and I can't wait to see him at the next level. So let's move on to the next slide. Here's his stats in college. Here's his freshman year. See, that's the impressive thing about this guy is he started and won a national championship as a true freshman. You do not see that a lot. So here he threw for 32, 30 touchdowns. You see he got better his sophomore year in college and then regressed a little bit his final year, but he had injuries, COVID year, weird things happen. So let's move on to the next one. So some of his strengths that I had listed, I said he's got the measurables. He's big, he's tall, he's a perfect weight. His build is perfect for an NFL-style quarterback, hand size, etc. He's a clutch performer, and he shows up in the big games. From high school to college, you saw he has not done much losing. He's won most of the football games he's participated in, so I got to say he's a clutch performer. Throws the ball with great velocity and zip. Truly has a good arm behind him. You see that there's a live ball coming out of his hand. Like to see him play. He's a true field general of a quarterback. He can hurt you in the pocket, or he can roam out of the pocket and hurt you. That's one thing that people don't look at is his ability to move. He moves better than what he gets credit for. He's a great pocket presence, great arm strength, and he can make every throw on the field, whether it be short, medium, or the deep ball. I truly do believe Trevor Lawrence can make every single throw on the field. And then let's move on. Here's some video. I want to just show a couple videos of him making good plays, and I'll talk about it a little bit. So here he is right here, starting off with a run. A lot of people are saying he can't run with the best of them. He may not be as fast, but he can still run the football. Trevor Lawrence was a great presence in the rush game at Clemson. Let's move on to a couple where we see throws. Here he is staying calm in the pocket, stepping up, firing, knowing how much time he has, tight spiral down the field. Gets a nice completion. See if we could see one where he's moving around a little bit. Here we go. Here he is on the move. Throws the ball. Beautiful ball into the end zone. It's pretty much all I got to show you there. I think Trevor Lawrence can pretty much has it at every aspect of the game. And then we'll go over some of his weaknesses because every quarterback in this draft, every quarterback ever does have weaknesses. His anticipation could be improved. We see it in Clemson, and that's the next bullet point. Clemson is a one-read college-style offense. So there's not a lot of times Trevor Lawrence has to sit there and go through progressions. In the NFL, he's definitely going to need to go through progression. I'm not saying he can't do it. We just haven't seen him do much of it. He's not today's type of dual threat. So he's not like your Lamar Jackson or your Kyler Murray or even your Russell Wilson. But that's not going to stop this kid, in my opinion. I know Nick feels the same way. We like guys that are going to hurt you with their arm first, and I think that's what Trevor Lawrence is going to do. Sometimes Trevor Lawrence does get tunnel vision and only looks at one target. He'll stare a target down. And I think that's part of the reason that is because of the offense he's in. It is a one-read offense. So I think that does hurt him a little bit. I'd like to see him make that adjustment when he gets to the league. And mechanically, sometimes he fails to set his feet correctly in the pocket, which could cause the ball to sail or be low. As Clemson's fan, you've seen your 6'6" starting quarterback get the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Now, he's a tall enough guy. He shouldn't be getting the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. And that's the reason he is, because his feet aren't set and he's causing him to sail or spike the football. And then we'll go to the grading scale. We go accuracy, arm strength, throw power, decision-making, progressions, mobility, pocket awareness, mechanics, anticipation, competitive toughness. That's like the division they play in if they're playing top-notch talent, and injury. Added all these up, and I gave Trevor Lawrence an 83.5 out of 100, which is a solid grade. That's the top grade of quarterbacks in the draft. And then good fit / potential landing spots. I don't think he'll get past the first round of the draft. I don't think anyone else even needs to be listed. I think he will be a Jacksonville Jaguar, and then some notable weapons to throw to. He's got wide receiver DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and then running back James Robinson. So let's move on to the next guy, Zack Wilson from BYU. Now, this order is not specifically my ranking order. My guys will be ranked at the end. So Zack Wilson, he's 6'3", weighs 210 pounds, went to BYU, junior quarterback, and he's 21 years old. Let's go over some of Zack Wilson's legacy. Wilson attended Corner Canyon High School in Draper. At high school, he came runner-up for Utah's Mr. Football Award and was named the 5A MVP. He was recruited by several colleges but decided to go to BYU. He led Corner Canyon to a 5A state semifinalist, region championship, and 11-1 overall record. So he won in high school, and then he decided to take his talents to BYU. He became their youngest ever starting quarterback and was named MVP of the famous Idaho Potato Bowl in 2018. 2020 Boca Raton Bowl MVP, leading BYU to 11-1 season. This 11-1 record this past season. So Zack Wilson stepped in and had success this season. Here's his numbers at BYU. He didn't honestly do much until this year, but he definitely took advantage of his opportunity and threw the football extremely well. So we'll go on to some of his strengths. Arm strength. Throws the ball with great velocity and zip. Zack Wilson can sling the ball down the field. You've seen him do it time and time again, in the pocket, outside of the pocket. He can just throw the football. Arm angle. Now, he does this better than anybody in this draft. He can attack you from several different arm angles. He almost looks like a baseball player out there. I don't know about his baseball history, but he can sling it sidearm, can throw the ball across his body. He could pretty much throw the ball from any arm angle, and this is what we're seeing a lot in the NFL today, like with Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray and guys like that. And he's got great accuracy on all of his passes, short, medium, and deep. Just because he's got a cannon for an arm, we tend to see a lot of guys not have the accuracy, but Zack Wilson does have the accuracy. He reads progressions well. He's got good anticipation and awareness. He's very mobile, and he can extend plays. Like, you're not going to see the rushing numbers out of Zack Wilson, but he hurts you being mobile in the pocket and extending the plays to push the ball downfield. And he gets rid of it fast when he needs to get rid of it fast. He's not always looking for the deep ball. Let's see a couple Zack Wilson plays. You'll just see the arm talent. Feels the pressure, moves in the pocket, slings the ball. That's a good throwing football right there. Good spot to put it, right where the defense can't get it. It's not an easy throw to make. Then we see him here. You could just see the arm strength there. Puts the ball right where it has to be. Let's get to another one here. Here he is staying in the pocket, stepping up, firing. That's a tight window ball right there, throwing his receiver open. Let's try to find – I saw a good one I liked earlier. That was a shovel pass. All right, here we go. Here he is on the move. Now look at that. If that's not throwing your receiver open, I don't know what is. That's the only place he could have put that football, in a tight window, and he got it there. That is right there is what I like to see, on the move like that. That is a phenomenal throw, and that's what excites me about this kid, that throw right there. Now we'll go over some of his weaknesses. Lack of competition. Being at BYU, you don't play the toughest guys in college football, so that's a concern. I wouldn't take it as a huge concern because it's all there. All the talent is there with him. So he does make some questionable throws, tries to fit balls and windows that he shouldn't try to fit balls into. He does have some injury history, Zack Wilson, so you just got to keep him not getting hit. sometimes I noticed this when I watched film on Zack Wilson. He will roll out of a pocket when it's clean. There are times where he won't just sit in a pocket. He rolls out of a clean pocket and then gets himself in trouble with the pass rush. So that is one thing I would like to see him fix up before he gets into the NFL. He doesn't always set his feet, which doesn't seem to matter now. But in the NFL, when you're not setting your feet and you're slinging the ball across the opposite side of the field, it's not going to be a good throw. Guys are better. Guys are faster. They're going to make a play on the ball. A couple times in film study, I saw him throw a ball over the middle and get his receiver killed. That's something that NFL receivers aren't going to deal with. Throwing a ball over the middle and letting your receiver get lit up. So I'd like to see him not do that in the league. And he tries to get cute at times. I've seen him try to go no-look passes. Like, it works for Patrick Mahomes, but it's not going to work for you. Don't be doing that. Don't be basing your game around being cute and trying to make the highlight reel. Just play football, make the passes, look at your receivers, play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And then Zack Wilson's grades, he got an 82.5 out of 100 total grade. His accuracy was an 8.5, arm strength 9.5, throw power 9 out of 10, decision making 7.5, progressions 9, mobility 8, pocket awareness 7, mechanics 8.5, anticipation 8.5, competitive toughness, being a BYU, had to give him a lower grade there, 3.5, and injury 3.5. So here's some good fits or potential landing spots for Zack Wilson. The New York Jets are very high on him, as we know. I don't know if the Jets are going to take a quarterback, but it seems like a potential landing spot to me. The Atlanta Falcons are up there too. We hear they're in the market for a quarterback potentially. If he drops to them, I guarantee you they're going to take him. I would love to see him here with the Carolina Panthers. That'd be a great fit with those weapons the Panthers have on the offensive side of the football. I think that'd be a great spot for Zack Wilson to go to. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I have them listed here for most of these quarterbacks just because I don't believe anything they say. I still think they're looking for a quarterback. And if Zack Wilson is there at 6 for some crazy reason, which I don't think he would be, the Eagles would be stupid to pass up on him. So let's move on to Trey Lance. He's 6'3", 224 pounds from North Dakota State, sophomore, and he is only 20 years old. He's the youngest quarterback of the guys I've looked at so far. Legacy. Lance was born in Canberra, Minnesota, and was a 3-star recruit coming out of Marshall High School. He was a top-ranked quarterback in Minnesota and had originally said he wanted to become a Gopher and play for the University of Minnesota, but Minnesota didn't want him to play quarterback. They wanted him to play the safety position. Lance had offers from multiple big schools to play other positions, but he chose to go to North Dakota State to play the quarterback position. Trey Lance felt no one believed in him. And then he went on to North Dakota as a redshirt freshman and set a record in the division with most passing attempts without an interception. He won 2 awards, Walter Payton Award for being the most outstanding player and the Jerry Rice Award for being the best freshman. He scored 42 total touchdowns with 0 interceptions and won the NCAA Division I football championship. So here we look at his stats. See, this is the thing that concerns a lot of people. Only one big year, only played 1 game the next year. So he really only has 1 year to show for. But that 1 year, he showed a lot that people didn't expect to see out of him. He threw the ball extremely well and ran the ball extremely well. He is a true dual threat. So we go to some of his strengths. He's got the measurables, just like I said, Trevor Lawrence had the measurables. He's big. He's strong. He's got the hand size. He's got the build of today's quarterback. He's got great arm strength. Throws the ball with great velocity and Great mobility. Trey Lance is truly dangerous as a runner. He's not like Zack Wilson can be mobile to create stuff. Trey Lance will run as a part of his game. He will run for 100 yards in a game on you, and he will score touchdowns running the football. So he's a dangerous runner. He's a great athlete, good at throwing the ball on the run. And this one stands out. He played in a pro-style offense, and he went through progression. So being that he's a little inexperienced, I like to see this because he knows what he's getting himself into. He's got good touch on the ball. He looks off defenders. That's another thing I saw on his tape. He will look off a defender, and that goes back to this. Playing in that pro-style offense, you have to look off a defender. And he is extremely well at escaping sacks and pressure. So we'll go look at a couple of his plays. See, so here he is right away. You see him being effective as a runner, pull away speed. He is good at reading lanes. He sees where he needs to go and he hits it. That right there is a designed run. try to find. Hold on, let me go back. Here he is, play action. They run a lot of play action, this North Dakota State offense. And that's a good deep ball right there. That's a perfectly thrown football right into the receiver's breadbasket for a touchdown. I like to see that live arm from this quarterback. Let's go. Here he is running. He's a powerful runner, too. He will run you over. It reminds me a little bit of a Cam Newton running the football his rookie year. Cam would just run people over. That's what I'm seeing a little bit out of Trey Lance right there. Another play action. Another good throw. I think that pretty much wraps us up there. I just like what I see out of the film out of this kid. I mean, there are inconsistencies. I'm not going to sit here and say there isn't. And we'll get to the weaknesses right now. All right, so we got – I think experience is definitely a weakness. Hasn't thrown the ball that much. Me and Nick were talking about it the other day. He's only thrown the ball 300-something attempts in his college career, which definitely is not a lot. But I'm not going to let that stop me from taking what I think could possibly be a phenomenal talent at the quarterback position. He's inconsistent on throws at times, some accuracy issues. Competition scares me. That North Dakota State, they're a powerhouse over there, and they're not playing teams that are anything like your Alabamas or your Clemson. So you got to think about that, and he has not thrown many pass attempts. And here's his grades. I got his accuracy at a 7.5 out of 10, arm strength at a 9 out of 10, throw power 9 out of 10. I think he's got a live arm. The ball comes out of his hand fast, and he could throw the ball far. Decision-making 9 out of 10, only throwing one interception on his college career is extremely impressive, even with only 300-something attempts. One interception is crazy. Mobility, I'm giving him a 10 out of 10. Pocket awareness, 8 out of 10. Mechanics, 7.5 out of 10. There's things I'd like to see him do better mechanically. I'd like to see him line his feet up better, line his shoulders up better. But with good coaching, he'll get there. Anticipations, 7 out of 10. Competition toughness, I only gave him a 2 out of 5 because he plays for that North Dakota State. An injury, 4 out of 5. I know he battled some injuries coming into that first year, so you got to be concerned about his injury. Total, 81 out of 100. Not a bad score. And a good fit / potential landing spot. This is the number one spot, I think, for Trey Lance is the Carolina Panthers. I think they got a good coaching staff with Matt Rule and Joe Brady, and I think they got phenomenal weapons. With DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey, that is a perfect spot for Trey Lance. Now, being some of the people saying he's not experienced enough, it wouldn't hurt him to go to Atlanta and sit behind Matt Ryan either. So Matt Ryan, I see being one. I see the Eagles being a potential landing spot, and I see the San Francisco 49ers being my final potential landing spot for Trey Lance. Another system I think he'd come into and thrive with guys like George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Raheem Mostert. They got a solid run game over there. Very creative offense that I think he's succeeding. Now we're going to quarterback Mac Jones. He's 6'3", 215 pounds from Alabama. He's 22 years old. So let's go over some of Mac Jones' legacy. Mac Jones attended the Bolles School in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, he played for a legendary high school football coach, Corky Rogers. Corky Rogers has 465 wins and 10 state championships in his high school coaching career, which is phenomenal. He gained much leadership and football IQ from Rogers. Ben Jones went on to play for arguably the greatest college coach in history, Nick Saban. He finished third in Heisman voting and won a national championship and also won the 2020 Manning Award for best quarterback in college football. So that's one thing right off the bat I like about Mac Jones. He's played for two good coaches. So he knows his way. He knows his IQ on a football field. And then we see right here, he didn't do much the first two seasons. This one was playing for an injured Tua, and then he got his nod in 2020. See, one thing I also like about Mac Jones is he's not afraid of competition. Mac Jones worked his way to the top. He sat behind two good quarterbacks there at Alabama, worked his way to the top. Had a phenomenal year. Arguably, he was a Heisman finalist, beat out by his own receiver. But as you see here, not very mobile. We'll be talking about that later. So some of his strengths, phenomenal anticipation. I'll go out and say right now, best in the draft out of all these quarterbacks. Goes through his progressions very, very well. He's a great leader. One thing I know about Mac Jones, phenomenal leader. Played for Nick Saban and Corky Rogers, two guys that you want to build your game off of and take their leadership styles. He's got great accuracy, good touch on passes, has won a national championship game, phenomenal pocket awareness, protects the ball, and his work ethic is out of this world. There was questions about Mac Jones earlier in his college career, but he definitely worked and he showed on the field this past season. I think he's ready for the NFL. So we'll see some of his video right here. So he gets rid of it quick, senses the pressure. That's another thing I love about it. He gets rid of the football fast. That is important to have as a trait as an NFL quarterback. There he is again, throwing the ball downfield. See, but you notice there's not a lot of fire behind that ball, but that doesn't matter. If you get rid of it fast and you throw it with touch, you'll get it to your guy. You will get it to your guy. That's most of his tape is throwing the ball deep downfield, to be honest with you, because these receivers were so good here at Alabama. He had two of the top three receivers, in my opinion, in Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle when Waddle was healthy. We'll watch one more, and then we'll move on to his weaknesses. There he is, pump fake, fires the ball down the field to a wide-open Devontae Smith. All right, we'll go on to his weaknesses. All right, now some of his weaknesses: lack of arm strength on downfield balls. Now I know he can throw the deep ball, but it doesn't get there in a hurry, and that's the thing that can come and hurt him in the NFL, especially when he has better safeties on his receivers being over top. No mobility. He does not have much mobility at all. There's nothing to hide there. That doesn't really concern me crazy, but it does. I know it is concerning to some people. Lack of zip on football. He gets rid of the ball fast, but he doesn't have the oomph that like Trevor Lawrence and Zack Wilson have behind the football. I think in the NFL, I don't think he's going to play like a Russell Wilson role. I think he's going to need good receivers and superstars around him to be able to win at the next level. That's just my opinion. I think he's a good quarterback, but I think to win a championship in the NFL, he's going to need superstar receivers and a good run game because he had it in college for him to win it all. May have reached his physical peak. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. What I mean by here is his arm's not going to get any stronger. Like, you're not going to get a stronger arm. He's not going to get any faster. So Mac Jones is what Mac Jones is at this point. I mean, he can better his game, but I'm saying the physicals. Not going to get any faster. His arm's not going to get any stronger. And athleticism, talking about his speed and stuff. And then let's go through the grades. Accuracy, 9.5 out of 10. I believe I gave him the highest accuracy grade out of all of my prospects that I reviewed. Arm strength, 6 out of 10. Throw power, 6 out of 10. Decision-making, 9 out of 10. He's good with the football. He doesn't turn the football over much. Progressions, he goes through progressions extremely well. 9 out of 10. Mobility, I gave him a 3 out of 10. He does not move well. Anyone who watched Alabama football this year can tell you, Mac Jones does not move extremely well at all. And then we look at pocket awareness is a 9 out of 10. He's phenomenal in the pocket. Knows when to get out, knows when it's breaking down. Mechanics are 8.5 out of 10. Anticipation, 9 out of 10. Competitive toughness, he played the toughest teams in football, 5 out of 5. And injury, 5 out of 5, which totals at a 79 out of 100. Good fits / potential landing spots for Mac Jones, I would say the New England Patriots. That is, if I'm Mac Jones, I want to go play for the New England Patriots, get in that system, play for Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels. And with the moves the Patriots are making, they're showing we're going to spend money. They got tight end Jonnu Smith, tight end Hunter Henry, Nelson Aguilar, and Julian Edelman. I think they're a running back away from being a really complete offense. And I think Mac Jones would fit in there perfectly. Another one is the San Francisco 49ers. I think he'd fit perfect in this offense. He's got George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Raheem Mostert. That's a perfect offense for Mac Jones to be in. Explosive in the run game and plenty of weapons to throw the ball to. I think the Denver Broncos could be in play. They got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, and Melvin Gordon. This is another stacked offense that I think Mac Jones could come right in and play well with. And then finally, the Carolina Panthers with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey. More weapons that look real good with Mac Jones under center. All right, so now let's move on to Justin Fields. Justin Fields is 6'3", 223 pounds. Played for Ohio State. He is 22 years old. Now, some legacy about Justin Fields. Fields was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and attended Harrison High School in Keenshaw. Fields, over his time at Harrison High, became a 5-star recruit, and was wanted by college football teams all over the country. He was even documented in the Netflix documentary QB1 Behind the Lights. In school, he totaled 4,187 passing yards and 41 touchdowns, while rushing for 2,096 yards and 28 touchdowns. And that is wild, crazy high school stats right there. Then he went to go play for Georgia, which some people may not know. After becoming unhappy after year one, he transferred to Ohio State, so he was not always an Ohio State Buckeye. He led Ohio State to a Big Ten championship and college football playoff semifinal. Later, he led them to a national championship game after beating Clemson in the prior round, but ultimately lost to Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. He was a 2019 Heisman finalist, but it went to Joe Burrow. So, I mean, he had a solid college and high school career. Justin Fields just didn't win the big game in college. So here you go. Here you see his 1 year at Georgia. Didn't get much playing time. Then he played at Ohio State, had a great 2019 season. And then, honestly, with the amount of games he played this year, he had a good season this year too. Played well against Clemson in that playoff game. And then you see his rushing numbers, had 10 touchdowns in 2019, which is very impressive. Oh boy, hold on. I'm sorry. All right, sorry about that. Then we go to his strengths. Now, some of Justin Fields' strengths, he's a good playmaker. He's going to try to make plays. He's going to go out there. He's going to try to make plays, whether it be with his leg or with his legs or with his arm. He's got a good deep ball. We saw him. He can throw the ball downfield very accurately, and he gets them there. He's got good pocket awareness. He's mobile, and he is elusive as a runner. He will juke you out, spin you out. He will run past you. He's fast. He protects the ball. He can throw well on the run. He's a tough player. Kind of plays with a gunslinger mentality. If you watch Justin Fields on his throws, they're going downfield most of the time. He doesn't like to throw the ball short, doesn't like to throw the short ball at all. He's moving around and slinging the ball down the field, and he ran an impressive 4.41 at his pro day. That was very impressive. I bet you that caught the eyes of many coaches around the league. Let's see, watch some of this real quick. Here he is. You can see his speed here, his pull away speed. He can pull away from you. He will run and pull away from you because Justin Fields is quick, very quick. Here we go again. Here he is throwing a ball. Finds an open receiver there. There he is throwing the ball downfield. A lot of throwing the ball downfield out of Justin Fields. He likes to sling it. He likes to sling it. There's that deep ball, the zip on the ball I was talking about. Move on to the next slide, talk about some of his weaknesses. All right, so some of his weaknesses, medium and short accuracy. He doesn't like to throw the ball over the middle to the midway across the field. He doesn't do it accurately. He airmails guys. He throws the ball low. He just misses guys. And short accuracy, he doesn't even attempt the passes that much. He's got poor mechanics at times, college-style offense, and he does not go through his progressions. Well, a lot of Ohio State's game is one read also if you watch their film. So most of the time he's staring down one receiver, and if he's not there, he's going to run. That's pretty much what he's done his whole football life. Lacks anticipation on routes. His ball placement is questionable. At times, he forces plays instead of throwing the ball away. He's a guy that wants the big play. You don't see Justin Fields give up on a play very often. It's a good trait to have, but it's also a bad trait to have, especially once you get to the NFL. And defenses can really hurt you for doing it. He's not great throwing the ball under pressure, so when he's in the pocket under pressure, he does not throw the ball well. And he doesn't hit the check down. The check down might be there, but Justin Fields does not look to hit the check down. And sometimes the check down can be your best friend in the National Football League. So that's something he's going to have to start doing if he wants to have a lot of success in the league. And grades, I gave him 7.5 out of 10 for accuracy. Arm strength, 9 out of 10. Throw power, 8 out of 10. Decision-making, 8.5 out of 10. Progressions, 5.5 out of 10. Mobility, 10 out of 10. He can move. You saw it on the video. You saw it at his pro day. He moves very well. Pocket awareness, 6.5 out of 10. Mechanics, 6.5 out of 10. Anticipation, 6 out of 10. Competitive toughness, 5 out of 5. And injury, 5 out of 5, which totals 77.5 out of 100. Another solid grade there. And some good fits and potential landing spots for Fields is the New York Jets, which I don't think they'll take him at 2. If they trade down, you might see him take Justin Fields. I don't see him taking him at 2. The Atlanta Falcons and Justin Fields have been mentioned for a long time now. We'll just wait and see what happens there. The Philadelphia Eagles, because like I said before, I don't trust them. I think they're still looking for a quarterback. The Carolina Panthers, and then the Denver Broncos, who have not been mentioned yet. I think the Denver Broncos, well, actually, yes, they did. I mentioned them for Trey Lance. I think the Denver Broncos could be a landing spot for Fields also if he drops to that spot. Now we're going to talk about Kellen Mond, a guy that's not getting a ton of love from analysts today. He's 6'3", 217 pounds, plays at Texas A&M, 21 years old. Legacy. So he is from San Antonio, Texas. Munch transferred to the Academy of Bradenton in Florida. His final season of high school football. This is when he made himself out to be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He threw for 27 total yards and had 38 total touchdowns. He was the number 2 quarterback recruited in high school behind Tua Tagovailoa, and he had offers from Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Auburn, and LSU, but decided to stay close to home and go play for Texas A&M. As a true freshman, Mond was the team's backup. As a sophomore, he won the starting job, and his peak performance, his best performance known game that I watched was when he beat LSU in overtime in 2018 with a 74-72 win. He was the MVP of the recent Senior Bowl this past year, and just to let you know who won it, Justin Herbert won MVP of the Senior Bowl a couple years ago, last year. And then here we go. Here's his stats in college football, his 4 years at Texas A&M. Now, one thing that concerns me here is he didn't improve, really. Looking at his numbers, and that's the number one thing that concerns me is he did not really show improvement at all. Honestly, he showed regression. He didn't play much his first year in college, and in his second year of college, when he got the start, he posted 24 touchdowns and threw for over 3,000 yards. And then after that, didn't really impress. Kind of regressed from that moment. So that's one thing that concerned me a little bit. And then I look, he's got arm strength, some of his strengths, good arm strength. He had a lot of playing time. That's one thing I will say about him. He played a lot in college, which is always good for a quarterback coming into the league. Good velocity and zip on ball, good pocket awareness, has good touch. He's got better mobility than people give him credit for. He's pretty mobile. And the upside is there. I just need to see more consistency out of him. Like, he has the ability to make the tight window throws, but the problem is he doesn't always do it. And that's the thing that can be fixed with coaching, but that's the thing that concerns me most about him. Here we go. We'll get into this. See right there, just a flick of the wrist. He gets it there with a flick of the wrist. He's got a strong arm. There's things I'd like to see him do better, and I'll talk about it in the weaknesses slide. He's got a strong arm as it is now, but he can have an even better arm if he does what I say. What I think he could do is his arm is too tight. I'll talk about it when we get to the weaknesses. There he is running. He's got some breakaway speed, good runner of the football. He could hurt you on both ends. He's got good mobility, good arm. There he is, getting away from pressure and throwing a strike down the field. It just doesn't look like to me he's using everything he has. And that is what concerns me. Now, I wanted to show another video. This is him missing some throws, and this is where I get concerned. That's not his fault. That particular pass right there wasn't his fault. Let me see. All right, here. Here's one. He just overshoots him. That's all I need to show you, because I'll explain what I think is going on in the weaknesses slide. All right, so weaknesses. He's a streaky player. First off, some days he would look wonderful when I watched him, and other games he just wouldn't look like he wouldn't bring that same urgency and just talent I saw to the table. He did not improve much over his college career, which I said before. Another thing, he plays stiff. He looks like he's like real stiff. He's not loose. He's got to loosen up on the football field. He's inconsistent not in most areas. He's got a good arm, but he's inconsistent in most of his areas. His mechanics need work, and this is what I'm saying. He needs to loosen his arm through his release. If you look, his arm is real tight, compact, real close to his ear. If he would loosen that arm, he would get more of an elastic-like feel and be able to sling the ball more effortlessly down the field. He needs to maintain constant footwork. There's times where his feet aren't lined up, and he needs to have a solid base. Now, these are some mechanical things I really think he needs to work on before he's ready to go and play well in the NFL. And here's another thing. He was never a college captain. Now, I'm not going to go say that's a huge deal, but you definitely can think about it. Why was he never named a captain in college? Is there a leadership problem there? Not 100% sure. I don't have the answers, but it's something to look at. And then here's his grades. I give him for accuracy an 8 out of 10, arm strength 8.5 out of 10, throw power 8.5 out of 10, decision-making 8 out of 10, progression 7 out of 10, mobility 7 out of 10, pocket awareness 7 out of 10, mechanics 6 out of 10, anticipation 5.5 out of 10, competitive toughness 4 out of 5, and injury 5 out of 5, which totals to a 75 out of 100. Good fits. I think the Denver Broncos could be a good fit for Kellen Mond. He can go immediately and push Drew Lock for a starting spot. So I think that would be a good spot. The Chicago Bears need a quarterback. I think he could step in and push Andy Dalton, honestly, for the starting spot in Chicago. He'd have Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, David Montgomery, and Tariq Cohen all on the offense. Then you got the Washington football team, another team in need of a quarterback. And I think he'd be a good fit there. He's got Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Logan Thomas. They're building themselves quite the team over there in Washington. And then another team that sparked my interest, which I personally thought he could go to and maybe sit a year behind Big Ben Roethlisberger and then be ready to take that team over, is the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he had notable weapons like Juju Smith-Schuster if he comes back after his one-year deal, Chase Claypool, and Deontay Johnson to throw the ball to. They just got to get a running back over there. All right, now the next guy is Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask stands at 6'5", 239 pounds, played for Florida, and he is 23 years old. Kyle Trask's legacy. Now, Kyle Trask is not successful as the other guys that I've been talking about up until this point. He's honestly kind of traveled in the shadows of not the spotlight. He spent his high school career as the backup to De'Aaron King. Although he started as a freshman, Trask spent most of his time riding the pine. He took advantage of his opportunities in high school, though, and when he did get in for blowouts, he threw 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He was only a 3-star recruit coming out and chose to attend Florida. At Florida, he was the backup to Felipe Franks that kept Trask to just 3 games in 3 years. So 3 years in college, he only participated in 3 games. And then after an injury to Franks, he took this advantage he took advantage of the opportunity yet again and threw 25 touchdowns for 29-41 pass yards and earned the starting spot. Trask then blew up this past year, throwing 43 touchdowns and was a Heisman Trophy finalist. So we'll go look into some of his college stats. Didn't play much. Then here was his opportunity. Here was his opportunity after the injury. Hold on, let me go back to that. And then he blew up, threw for 4,283 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. That's a crazy year, and it's very close to what Joe Burrow did last year at LSU, but it wasn't good enough to get to win Trask the Heisman. So here's his strengths. He has improved every year in college. That's a big thing for me. I want to see constant improvement. With Justin Herbert, that was my one big thing with him. I constantly saw improvement every single year in college. That is one thing I like to look for. He's got good pocket awareness, good touch on passes. He's patient in the pocket. He's not a guy that's going to go out of the pocket. Kyle Trask is a big, slow guy. He's going to sit in the pocket, so he needs to be good at all these things to have somewhat success. Remains calm with pressure in his face, goes through progressions. And one thing I saw about him in film, his eyes are always locked downfield. He is not worried to get blown up. And that's a good trait to have as a quarterback. He's got good instincts, and he's an accurate passer. Let's watch a little bit of video on Kyle Trask. There he is. There he is. Pocket presence, knows when to get out of the pocket, throws a good, accurate ball to the back in the end zone. But as you could tell, he does not move very fast. He's not gonna run past you. He's like a goal line guy. Maybe he can go on the 1 yard line and pile his way through, but he's not gonna beat you with his legs. There he is. Throws an accurate. That's a good thrown football. That is an accurate thrown football. But as you can see on his ball doesn't have a lot of zip behind it. Doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He just gets it there. There he is again. It's a perfectly that's the best spot you can put that football as an accurate thrown football right there. All right, so his weaknesses. He's slow and he's just not mobile. There's not much arm strength there, too. As you could see in that video, he does not have a cannon for an arm. Zip. He doesn't have much zip on the ball either. And then his anticipation, because sometimes he waits for the route to be completed. When I was watching film on Kyle Trask, I noticed on certain routes, just say a curl route, for example, he would wait for the guy to run the route and complete the route and then throw the ball. That is an absolute no-go in the NFL. That'll get jumped and will get brought back for 6. So he's got to throw the ball and have better anticipation throwing the ball to a spot rather than waiting for the route to be finished. And then his grades. His accuracy, I give him an 8.5 out of 10. Arm strength, 6 out of 10. Throw power, 6 out of 10. Decision-making, 7 out of 10. Progressions, 9 out of 10. Mobility, 2 out of 10. He's, like I said before, he's very unmobile. Pocket awareness, 8.5 out of 10. Mechanics, 8 out of 10. Anticipation, 6 out of 10. Competitive toughness, he played for Florida, played a lot of good teams, 5 out of 5. Injury, 3.5 out of 5, which totals to a 69.5 out of 100 for Kyle Trask. And then some good fit and potential landing spots. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, people are probably thinking, why am I saying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Somebody's going to have to take over for Brady eventually. And I think if they draft a guy like Kyle Pitts in the later rounds, that would be a great spot for him because he could sit and learn behind Tom Brady and just better his game. Being on the team with Tom Brady just betters your game. And then I don't know if these obviously probably would not be his weapons when it was his time to play, but they got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, and Rob Gronkowski. Another team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sit behind Big Ben for a year and maybe get an opportunity to compete for the starting job. Notable weapons, you got Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson. And another team is the Los Angeles Rams. Matt Stafford's getting up there in age. We don't know. They gave a pile up to get him. We don't know how long he's going to be the Rams quarterback. So, because they didn't extend him. So, maybe you draft Kyle Trask to sit behind Stafford and learn for a couple years. He would have Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Cam Akers. And then the Washington football team, as I mentioned before, is in the hunt for a quarterback right now. After Fitzpatrick's time is done, of course. Now, then we got quarterback Jamie Newman, stands at 6'4", 235 pounds, attended Wake Forest. He's 23 years old. Let's read some of Jamie Newman's legacy. He attended Graham High School in North Carolina. He never truly put up star numbers in high school, though. I mean, his senior season, he threw 12 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. He was only a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He chose to attend Wake Forest even when more quarterback-proven schools did make him offers. He only had one solid season in 2019 after he took over in 2018 when John Wolford suffered a broken leg. So here's his college stats. We saw him. He took over in 2018 for Wolford, and then in 2019 he got the start and did well with it. Threw 26 touchdowns and 11 interceptions and added 574 yards on the ground. Strengths. He has the measurables. He's got the height. He's a big guy. He's a solid, strong guy. He excels as a runner. I saw him run pretty well when I watched his tape. He has bright flashes, but he just doesn't do it consistently for me. Like, there are times where he looks great, and then he'll come back and not look good. And that's what scares me. Consistency, you need consistency. He's got a good compact throwing motion, and he's got good zip on the football. Let's move on. Let's watch some video on him real quick. See that tight spiral, put in the ball where it has to be. See that compact, that short compact arm angle I do like. Does a good job in extending the arm through his release. Good extension through the release. That's what Mon didn't do. He extends it very well through his release, which I like to see. That ball's thrown on a rope. That's the zip I'm talking about. He's got good zip. Can push the ball down the field. Quick arm, very quick arm. And here he is running. Not a bad, I'm telling you, he's not a bad runner. Here he is running for a touchdown. All right, let's move on to the weaknesses. Too inconsistent, like I was saying before. He's very inconsistent, and that scares me. That really scares me, especially when I'm watching highlights and picking stuff up. When you like, one thing is watching game film. When you watch highlights and you pick stuff up on there, you should worry a little bit. He collapses when pressure. When he's got pressure on him, he does not look good. He forces balls. He is honestly like he's never seen it before. He does not like pressure in his face. That's something that concerns me going to the NFL, especially being that if he goes to a team with no offensive line. He needs to work on mechanics a little bit, lining the feet up, lining the shoulders up, bringing the weight through. He does not go through progressions well. He stares down. A lot of times in his film, I saw him stare down receivers and then just force the ball. That's not going to work in the NFL. It doesn't even really work in college. So he's got to get that better. He's got to be more accurate with the football. He does not make adjustments mid-game. So if he's having a bad game, it usually just spirals downward from there. I didn't see him really salvage a lot of performances. He throws balls too late at times, and his pocket awareness is not the greatest. Grade. So I gave him a 7 out of 10 on accuracy, 8 out of 10 on arm strength, 8 out of 10 on throw power, 7 out of 10 for decision-making, 5 out of 10 for progressions, 8 out of 10 for mobility, 6 out of 10 for pocket awareness, 6 out of 10 for mechanics. Anticipation's got a 7 out of 10. Competitive toughness, a 3 out of 5 playing for Wake Forest. Injury, 3.5 out of 5, which totals out at 68.5 out of 100. And then good fits. A good fit for him is potentially Pittsburgh, the Washington football team, like I said before. Now here's Minnesota Vikings, maybe a team that isn't fully sold on Kirk Cousins, takes a shot on a receiver later in the draft, gives them Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook to work with, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers again. And then now we move on to the final guy I scouted was Brock Purdy. Stands at 6'1", 210 pounds, and 21 years of age. Brock Purdy attended Perry High School in Gilbert, Arizona. He was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He won Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year in 2017 as a senior. Then he went to Iowa and has become one of their most winningest quarterbacks in state history. And right now, he currently holds 21 records for Iowa State. Here's his numbers. His best year being in 2019, throwing 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions for 3,882 yards. And then you see he gets in the end zone when he rushes. He moves well. He gets in the end zone when he rushes. Strengths. I'd say mobility is a strength, throwing on the run, pocket mobility, accuracy, and he wins. Where he's been so far, he has had success. I'd be lying if I said Brock Purdy has not had success. He's had success everywhere he's played so far. Do I think it's going to continue at the NFL level? Probably not, but he's had success where he's going. Here he is standing in the pocket throwing the ball. You see not much arm strength on him. Throws the ball to a wide open receiver. He hits them when they're open. But you need more than that to succeed at the next level. Here he is. Moving out of the pocket, pump faking, and then running for a score. It was a good pump fake. He moves well. Here he is getting away from pressure. He can move. Mobility is this guy's best thing. Throwing the ball, underthrown, honestly, to his receiver. But it's college. He's wide open. In the NFL, that is not going to work. You got to get the ball there. Weaknesses is small frame, small size. He's not a very big guy. He's 6'1", 210. He's inconsistent. Doesn't have much arm strength, not much zip on the ball. And he really doesn't make tight throws. As I was showing you right there in his highlights, that's what concerns me. That's what concerned me with Dwayne Haskins a couple years ago. When you turn on the highlights and all you see is him throwing balls to wide open receivers, you sit there and you think, I don't really see this guy making any spectacular throws. And that's what I see here with Brock Purdy. His accuracy, I gave him an 8 out of 10. Arm strength is a 5 out of 10. Throw power is a 5 out of 10. Decision-making is a 5.5 out of 10. Progressions is a 6 out of 10. Mobility is an 8 out of 10. Pocket awareness, we got 7 out of 10. Mechanics, 6.5 out of 10. Anticipation is 6 out of 10. Competitive toughness, played at Iowa State, I give him 4 out of 5. And then injury, 5 out of 5, which totals to a 66 out of 100. And then we say good fits and potential landing spots. The Atlanta Falcons, I've had them listed for most of these teams that need a quarterback because it looks like they're looking for one. Maybe they stick with Matt Ryan for a couple more years and pick up a guy like Purdy extremely late in the draft and let him sit. Maybe they think he can develop into something. We got the Detroit Lions. They may not have their answer with Goff. I mean, I know they just made a big splash, big trade. Maybe they draft him to sit behind Goff. That gives them Tyrell Williams, Rashad Perryman, and DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson as the current top weapons on the Lions. And then the Washington football team, who I've mentioned all throughout this video, who are going to be in need of a quarterback shortly. Now, I think the safest selection, we'll go through some categories of award, kind of like awards I'm giving the players. Safest selection, in my opinion, is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence could be up for a lot of things, but the problem is his bar is set so high. So I felt like if I said he was going to be like the biggest upside, his upside's already up there. So I'm going to say he is the safest selection at the number 1 overall pick. We're already expecting so much out of him, so that's what I'm going to give him there. Most upside, I'm giving it to Trey Lance. Got all the physicals. He just needs to get in a good system with weapons around him, and I think this kid can excel in this league. He's got a cannon for an arm. He can run the football. I think he can excel in the NFL in the right system. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. He is my most upside. Most NFL ready, I got Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones can step on an established team and perform well. I don't know about go win a Super Bowl or anything right away, but I think he needs weapons around him. So if he gets on a team that has weapons, he can step in and do very well with it. And I can see him having a good solid rookie season with weapons around him. So I'd say he's the most NFL ready because of his anticipation and his accuracy. Best thrower of the football I got is Zack Wilson, just because he's got a cannon for an arm. He can make any throw on the field, in my opinion. And the arm angles. The arm angles is what sets him apart throwing the football than everybody else. He can snap the ball, sling it sidearm, and get rid of it extremely fast. He can go throw the ball across his body to the other side of the field. I don't recommend doing that in the NFL, but he has the arm to do it. So I'm saying he is the best thrower of the football in this draft. And then most hyped player, I'm saying, is Justin Fields. I see a lot of flaws in Justin Fields' game. That doesn't mean he can't be a good quarterback in this league. But right now I'm seeing more flaws for where he's ranked in his game, which is concerning me tremendously. I don't think he's a top pick like he has been projected as to this point. You see him falling down some boards now, so we'll see what happens with Justin Fields. Again, I'm not saying he can't be a good quarterback in this league, but I just think he is the most overhyped quarterback so far. And worst prospect that I've looked at so far is Brock Purdy. Out of all the guys I looked at, I think he's the worst. He's small. He can't do much with his arm. He's got mobility, and that's about the only thing he's got going for him. So I'd say Brock Purdy is the worst prospect I've looked at. And then finally, here's my final rankings. These are my rankings who I think are going to have the best careers in the NFL. I got Trevor Lawrence at 1, Zack Wilson at 2, Trey Lance at 3, Mac Jones at 4, Fields at 5, Kellen Mond at 6, Kyle Trask at 7, Newman at 8, and Brock Purdy at 9. And that pretty much wraps it up, folks. Nick, you got any questions?
Yeah, so real fast, what we'll do is if you stop your screen share, we'll go back to us on video, if that's all right with you. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Let's go there real fast, and we'll just run through a few questions. So here I am. I'm back. Welcome. All right, so I wrote down a few questions as we were going through, just a few of the questions that I was asked as well from the viewers last time. First things first, I want to ask you is, where is the lowest you have Trey Lance falling? What pick would it be? Does
8.
8 is the lowest he goes?
8. I think 8 would be the lowest Trey Lance goes. But, I mean, yeah, I'd probably say 8. I think 8. 8, potentially to San Francisco at 12. But right now I'm going to lock in 8.
All right, my second question is, and I only got 3 right now, so my second question is going to be, where does Kyle Trask get drafted? Does he get drafted in the first round? Is it the second round? Where do you think this guy goes?
I think that he's a 3rd, 4th round pick. Because he did truly show improvement, Kyle Trask. I don't think he's ready to go take over a team right now. But I think he can go in the 3rd round to a quarterback needy team. Like I said, like a team that like Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't have a lot of needs. So they could be like, I'm going to spend a 3rd round pick. I'm going to spend a mid-round pick on a quarterback. That's the luxury of having a solid roster. You can draft a player and for your future. You know what I mean? Like you could draft a guy that isn't ready to come in and take over right away. I see him being a mid-rounder.
I'm also going to ask you the same question. Where do you think Justin Fields may go? Where's the lowest that Justin Fields can go?
Oh, let me pull up something real quick. And I see him potentially, Justin Fields. I think he can drop out of the top 10.
That's what I was going to ask. So you think that you can fall out of the top 10 and maybe land to a team like Washington?
I don't know about that far. I think if Washington traded up to like 12.
So Denver would be in play?
Yep, I think Denver's in play. I think right around that Denver-San Francisco pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where I see him. If he's going to drop, that's as far as I can see him going.
And last but not least, here's the final question. And this is just throwing in some things from the word you said. Zack Wilson is ranked the best thrower of the football.
Yeah.
And we all know that he's very mobile as well.
Yeah.
Could it be fair, because there's been some reports going around and stuff, to say that he's a viable option at 1? Is that a fair statement to say?
It's a fair statement to say. Would I do it? No, because he's been doing it for 1 year, Zack Wilson. He's only been doing it for 1 year. He had one phenomenal season. Trevor Lawrence has been doing it his whole life. And that's why I think Trevor Lawrence is the for sure number 1 pick. It's just like Andrew Luck. They said Andrew Luck is a winner. Andrew Luck has been a winner his whole life. Same thing with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning has been a winner his whole life. Trevor Lawrence fits that picture too. He's been a winner his whole life. He's succeeded everywhere he's gone. And I think getting into an NFL system with a coach like Urban Meyer and the weapons he has around him, you need to go with Trevor Lawrence with that first pick. You need to. I like Zack Wilson a lot. I see a lot of Patrick Mahomes in him slinging the ball like that, but you got to go with the guy with the winning pedigree.
All right, I'm going to ask you another question.
They're so close. They're close. A lot of these quarterbacks in this draft are pretty close. This is a great quarterback draft, but I think Lawrence has the edge.
In the same sense, I'm going to ask you the same thing about the two. Do you think Trevor Lawrence or Zack Wilson has more upside than the long term? I mean,
I think Trevor Lawrence will have the better career.
You think so? Okay. And last but not least, the final thing, Justin Fields. A lot of people are scratching their heads and saying, why is he sliding? Why is he sliding? What is he actually worse than Zack Wilson? I mean, This guy was projected to be the second quarterback off the board. All of a sudden, completely changed. Now he might be the third, fourth quarterback taken.
It's because of what I said before. He doesn't hit the check down. He doesn't throw the short ball. He doesn't throw the medium ball. He refuses to hit the check down. He refuses to throw the ball away when he's pressured. He tries to make the big play. You need to develop a short pass game, and a mid pass game to have success in the NFL. Or you're going to end up like Cam Newton was, having a great year until people figure you out. So he needs to develop a full pass trait. He doesn't have that right now. And he's in college. It's a lot of one read stuff. I'm not so sure he can read progressions. Watching his film, I was extremely concerned about him reading progressions in the NFL because he's another guy that locks his eye on one receiver, and he's either going to go there or he's going to run with the football.
Absolutely. And I would agree with you exactly on that claim. I mean, same thing with my analysis with Justin Fields. I just don't know if he goes through his progression.
Tremendously. I like Mac Jones better than him. I like Trey Lance better than him. I like Lawrence, and I like Wilson better than him.
But do you think there's a possibility of him going before Trey Lance, maybe a Mac Jones?
Yes, yes, absolutely, yes. There's definitely a possibility because the Falcons have been tied to him the whole time. So if the Falcons are really in love with Justin Fields, they might take him at 4. I think it's going to be a mistake, like we were talking about on the live stream the other day. But if they truly believe it's their guy, they're going to take him.
I agree. Again, I think the same thing. If it's your guy, you go get him. Yeah. I'm not a big believer in Fields. And last but not least, I mean, Mac Jones, where do you put him on that?
Mac Jones going to the New England Patriots. I don't think he falls that far. That is the perfect spot for Mac Jones to play.
So you guys being the 5th quarterback, I believe, right off the board, Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, Fields, then Jones.
It could be between Fields and Jones. I remember. Do you remember a while back someone came out and said they don't see his floor going past 8, and we said they were crazy. Yep. Now it's looking seriously possible. He can go in the top 10.
I think so too.
Seriously possible.
I got him mocked in again. Right now, I think that he might go to Carolina, and I think that is it. I had something else I was going to mention, but I actually forget what the hell was it going to be. I honestly don't remember. Fields, we talked about him sliding. We talked about Trey Lance and all them. I think we're good. I think that's all. I mean, that was good. Guys, be sure to go tune in. I mean, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, go back, watch my scouting analysis, watch Jackson's scouting analysis, watch it all. Let us know what you guys think. Watch your own film. Let us know what you think about what you see and what we may have missed according to you guys. But again, we're going to give you guys a running backs will be next, wide receivers, and then we'll have a whole separate video where we break down and discuss and debate these quarterbacks and where they should go and all that stuff. And mock drafts are coming in the future, so just stay tuned. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That's all from Top Notch Sports. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
We'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are
Built Better.
See you guys soon. Peace.